I think it's the year before I was born, if I'm right. It's 1982. And he didn't go by Benjamin Netanyahu back then. He went by whatever his more, European sounded name was.
Why did he change names?
Well, because they all
when?
80s, I would guess. It's got to be in the 80s. He was Netanyahu by the 90s. But in the 80s, they were still calling him whatever. I can't remember his previous name.
Why did he change his name?
Well, they all kind of, because the whole thing, Joe, is that they're all, Israel was a European, construct. They were made by a bunch of Europeans who came over and created Israel. But then they have to claim that they're the true Semitic people.
Is it true that genetic testing is outlawed there?
I believe that is true. I believe that's true. Double check me on that, but I believe it's true.
We should definitely double check that
permission
right now.
from the government to go get DNA tests and stuff. Because I think, and I believe...
Well, this is the problem with the term Semitic.
Mm-hmm.
Because if these are European Jewish people, this is not the exact same genetics.
That's right. And
genetic testing
heavily regulated.
Here, you can fucking get it at Walgreens.
That's right. Yeah.
And focused on medical and reproductive purposes with broad support for carrier screening and pre-implantation diagnosis. What does that mean? Pre-implantation diagnosis? This creates a system where health-related genetic testing is robust and often publicly funded, but direct-to-consumer tests for ancestry or paternity are highly restricted. Now, why would you highly restrict anything like that? If you wanted if a human being has bodily autonomy and you want to find out where your ancestors came from, why wouldn't that be? What do you think?
Well, look, like the only real answer to this is that they, the Israel project or the Zionist project always relied on this kind of claim, which is a crazy claim in a way. It's like a supernatural property right claim,
right.
That that you have this, which if you go, there was that great documentary on the settlers in the West Bank, and they'll all tell you to a man or to a woman. They focus a lot on that godmother of the settlers woman, but they'll all explain to you, like in very plain English with a Hebrew accent, that God promised them all this land. And so, God promised us all this land. So, I don't know who these other people are here, but God didn't promise it to them. He promised it to us. And so, that's kind of the claim, that we're the original people of this land. And so we have a right to come back here. Now, forget for a second the fact that nobody conceives of property rights in this fashion in any other way.
Right.
Nobody thinks I could come up with a DNA test and be like, oh, I've got some Ukrainian in here. All right, well, I'm going to march into Ukraine, knock on a door and be like, this is actually my house because I was here 1,000 years ago. But
it's kind of crazy that you block evidence that's not really a good argument.
Well, let's just say, hypothetically, if, say, the truth is that the Jews of 2,000 years ago weren't actually kicked out of the land, but in fact, they were forced to convert, and that actually those people who you're saying were never promised the land are actually the people who were promised the land and then converted to Islam. And in fact, you're just some European who came in here way after that. That I'm just saying, hypothetically, if that was the case, that would be something that maybe you would want to control the information of.
Isn't that wild?